Men of Reddit, what's the most creepiest thing a woman has ever done to you? Story 1. Probably not as exciting as most here, but still super freaking weird. I was staying at my friend's house, sleeping in his guest room. Friend is at work, his girlfriend is at home. One thing about this room is that it has a very heavy door that has to be held open by something super heavy or else it slams shut. Well, I sleep with the door closed. I wake up in the morning, and as I do every morning, I laid there for a bit longer before actually getting out of bed. Well, this time all of a sudden I see the door open. The light is still off, but the hallway light being on means I can see if someone's standing in the doorway. I have my eyes kind of opened and I can see that she's just standing there in the doorway, staring at me. I didn't move. I wanted to see WTF would happen because this was thoroughly freaking me out. She just stood there for at least 10 minutes, didn't look away, didn't walk around the room. I was laying at a weird angle where I could see her perfectly. She could see me, but she couldn't see that my eyes were half open. I thought she may have been in there to grab something because there's a bunch of stuff in the closet, clothes and such. Nope. 10 minutes I waited for her to do something or to walk out. Finally I flinched and feigned waking up, and I heard her run out and the door slam. I got up, went into the kitchen, and she was as bubbly as could be, acting like nothing happened. Acting like she didn't just spend 10 minutes watching me sleep. Story 2. Dated this girl who I later found out to be literally a compulsive liar and also into witchcraft. After not being able to deal with her insanity anymore, I broke things off. She would wait outside my door for God knows how long until I came home and say she left something at my house. This happened a lot. One day I was going to add a new email account to my phone and realized that her email account was still saved on my phone. I shouldn't have checked it, but she was actively stalking me and I needed to know what I was up against. There were tons of emails to some witchcraft lady she found online somehow, all about me. She was paying this internet witch like hundreds of dollars an hour for what I would consider witch consulting. It was all about me. How to cast spells to get me back, how to enchant me, how to curse my new GF, all kinds of crazy crap. She was using this lady as like a weird the rapist almost, asking her a bunch of relationship questions and crap too. This went on for months. The witch lady was getting a little annoyed with her, I could feel. Although she couldn't complain that much because she was draining her for literally thousands of dollars. She told the witch that some point I told her she needs to seek professional help. The witch actually told her that might not be a bad idea, Elmo. She ended up moving into the house of a mutual friend, this girl from school that was literally one building away from mine. My friend told me that she was always burning weird spices and candles. It was at the direction of the witch actually. It was all creepy AF, and eventually she cut my brakes. Story 3. Met a girl at a bar and we ended up back at her place. We did it and fell asleep. She seemed normal all night and I saw no red flags at all. I definitely would have dated her again. Until she went crazy. I woke up around 5 a.m. and started getting dressed to leave. I had to get home and get ready for work. She woke up while I was dressing and totally freaked out. She was screaming angrily, "You can't leave." I explained I needed to go to work and that I'd call her later. She was having none of that. Then she attacked. I literally had to physically fight my way out of her apartment, with a few scratches on my arm for souvenirs. I have no idea what her deal was, and I never went back to the bar I met her in. Story 4. Weird. I had a similar experience when I was younger that your story made me rethink. I lived in a neighborhood with middle-class housing. I had a friend whose parents were divorced, so his mother lived right down the street from me, and when he wasn't with his father in Hawaii he was here. So I was young, like 11 years old. My friend was with his father at the time, so he was not there. I was walking home, and when I was walking past his house his mother was outside sitting in front of her garage smoking a cigarette. I said hi as I kept walking and she called me over. It was odd since we never really spoke other than standard pleasantries. I was respectful just like you were. She had me sit on her lap while she talked, and she for whatever reason kissed my cheek multiple times with her arms around me. I know sounds hentai AF, but I can assure you this happened. I can't for the life of me remember what she was saying since I was a kid that was only focused on getting home. She had red lipstick on which was on my skin, of course, lol. Moving along, after a while she let me go and I walked home where my mom prepared me a bath. She asked me about the lipstick and I told her what happened. She didn't react much, but thinking in hindsight she may have freaked out. Nothing happened after that and I was a very optimistic child who didn't think much of it. Now I am not certain that she did that as a sexual thing. I think it is that she was lonely without her son, my friend. She lived alone and I don't recall her having visitors. Just thinking, as a parent in 2020, having your 10-year-old son come home with lipstick on his cheek would be a huge yikes lol. Hey guys, are you enjoying the video? If so, please like and subscribe, as it really helps out the channel. Anyways, back to the stories. Story 5. My ex was bi, and at a party she tried making moves on my younger sister, who was only 15 at the time. X was 17, and touching her without permission. I got angry and told her to stop, and so the party ended soon after that. A week later, not only did she not apologize, she tried to organize a meetup involving both me and my sister along with a few friends. So I told her I don't want her near me or my sister again. This made her so angry she called me on the phone and told me she had a knife and if I keep acting this way she'll use it. She also said she was on the way to my house right now. I was freaking the frick out at this point, but I was hoping she was just bluffing. However, sure enough, 20 minutes later she arrived right outside my door. I texted her saying I wasn't going to let her in, but she kept ringing the doorbell constantly. I texted her again and again to go away before eventually saying after a few minutes that I would call the cops if she didn't leave right now. This finally got her to leave. Luckily, I haven't seen her since. Story 6. My one and only Tinder date. Turned out she had signed her divorce papers that day. On the date, she laid out her one-year plan for us to date and get married. Let her know I wasn't interested in a second date. She thanked me for my opinion and declined not having a second date. Very luckily, I hadn't been able to meet her at my house at the start of the date like she'd suggested, and we had to meet someplace neutral. I don't like to think what would have happened if she'd known where I lived. Considering that I'm not attractive or rich or otherwise someone women are usually interested in, this was a very weird situation. It was just a hi, I don't know anything about you, but we're going to be married by the end of the year. No, your opinion isn't relevant. Story 7. Keep in mind I'm only a junior in high school. I was about in 7th or 8th grade, and I was at a New Year's party at my grandparents' house with all of their friends. You can tell I'm a party animal, spending my New Year's with 60 and 70-year-olds. And one of their friends, who I'd known for a while, continued touching me and grabbing me in my waist and thigh region. She would sneak it in, like under the table or walking past each other or whatever. I totally understand the stereotypical grandma cheek pinch or whatever, but this was something else. After squeezing my butt with both hands, I had enough and said something to her. The rest of the night was super awkward, but the worst part was my grandma was defending her and downplaying the whole situation. It wasn't until I told my mom the next day and she lost her crap on my grandma that she finally admitted she was wrong, and I haven't seen her since. Story 8. Hooked up with a girl in a nightclub. We went back to my place. She was being really weird on the walk over there, but I thought nothing of it because I was really drunk. Only realized she was being weird when I thought about it later. We get back to my place and do it, and I fell asleep. My roommate was woken up by noises formed downstairs. He got up, opened his door and yelled down the stairs. RM roommate, who hook up. RM, hello, who appears at the foot of the stairs with wet hair and wearing only a towel. Who, where is everyone? RM, what do you mean? Who walks up the stairs, straight past my roommate, and into his room, while looking around. Who, everyone is gone. Where are they? Where is he? RM, what are you talking about? Are you looking for Opus? I'll show you to his room. RM walks who back down the stairs and shows her to my room. She went into my room and that was it. Or so my roommate thought. He went back to bed, but he couldn't sleep, thinking about the encounter. Then he remembered all the loud noises and decided he should check that everything was okay downstairs in the living room. He goes downstairs, checks the living room, nothing out of the ordinary. Checks the kitchen, all good. And then he checks the bathroom, and what he found was chaos. The bathroom was flooded with water at least 3 inches high. According to my roommate, he might be exaggerating. The door for our shower was torn off. There was a towel in the toilet, and the entire bathroom was littered with all our toiletries. She had also clearly used my roommate's razor, although I fail to understand where, because as I remember, she was shaved all over. Anyway, my roommate freaked out, thinking about water damage, and spent over an hour cleaning and drying up the bathroom at 4 a.m. Needless to say, he's given me some crap about it. The girl was gone when I woke up the next morning. Haven't seen her since. Oh yeah, she also gave me chlamydia. Fun times. Story 9. Maybe not the worst, but here's something. I was in a really low mental state due to some past trauma, recent health issues when we started dating, which I think was part of the appeal for her, since looking back the whole thing was very predatory. Iffy age gap, 24 meters and 32F. She started talking shared finances just a month or so into the dating. It's pretty obvious what she was about in hindsight. Anyway, she encouraged me to start keeping a journal to help with my mental recovery, with a twist. For the journal, she would ask questions and I would write answers to them, which she would read. Most of it was extremely personal, a good amount also sensitive sexual information. I, too, am boggled that I went along with this. She was also doing classic abuser things, trying to cut me off from my best friend and all. Fortunately, it only took a few months for me to start seeing clearly, though I wasn't quite committed to breaking up. She must have sensed some resistance though. One day she asked for my journal, set it aside, then proceeded to start the breakup talk. I agreed that it wasn't working out for me either, and overall it was very amicable, until I asked for my journal back, literally instant screaming that it belonged to her. I just stayed seated and kept repeating that she hadn't written a thing in it and I was the one who originally purchased it. She tossed it at me after a bit and I bounced out of there like a bat out of hell. She did send me an apology about it over social media private messaging some years later. It was also while letting me know that she would be attending kink meetups in my city though, so Story 10. Played an MMO for a while where you could join 5 guilds. This lady was in 3 of them, was always nice, but very flirty with me. Our guilds used TeamSpeak a lot and the 2 of us got to talking. Turns out though we lived a few hundred miles and an international border away, we shared a crap ton of interests. She claimed to be in her 20s. I was over 30 at the time. We became friends, though she made it very clear to everyone that she wanted more. In fact, she referred to me as her nickname I went by in that game. I found out she was going to be traveling to an area near me right around her birthday, so I offered to meet her in a public setting. That's when she dropped it on me. She wasn't really in her 20s, she was turning 16. Technically, over the age of consent, but yes, still a kid even if there weren't legal issues. I simply was not interested in dating anyone that young. I have a 5-year rule. I only date people that are within 5 years of me. So I had a long talk with her, explained I was damn near twice her age, and while her interest in me was flattering, I wasn't interested. She was devastated, crying, telling me I was making a mistake because she would be the best girlfriend, future wife possible. That age was just a number. Finally, I told her that in 2 years when she turned 18, and brought proof of that, I would consider going on a single date with her if she was really that serious, and that if all went well I would consider making an exception to my 5-year rule. But under absolutely no circumstances would I ever date or even meet with someone that was under 18. She wasn't happy, but eventually accepted that was the best she would get, and we stayed in touch even after I left the game. Fast forward almost but not quite 2 years. She has finally found a boyfriend. She hits me up on TeamSpeak. She wants me to travel up there to meet them because in her words she wants me to know exactly what the hell I missed out on by unfairly and unreasonably turning her down. Age is just a number and shouldn't have gotten in the way. She has since become more normal, but yeah, those 2 incidents really creeped me out. No, I have never dated her. I had dated other women I had met in games before then. Never have since. Story 11. Blind date. Talk was okay over dinner. Edit that she kept mentioning her dad's shunt. She had sweaters for it, a separate purse-like bag to carry it, etc. Then she looked at me and said, "I really like my dog." I said I gathered that. She looked at me very starkly and said, "I don't think you understand. I really like my dog." I paid for the food, wished her well, and we went our separate ways. Maybe that was her way of ending the date. I don't know, but I didn't need to know either. Hey guys, just found out you watched till the end. That is awesome. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories.